Well, good afternoon, everyone. How are ya? Did I mess you up by going on in the afternoon here this week on a beautiful day? How you guys doing? Let's say hello to a few folks before we get into a study or two. And okay, let's say hello. John, you're number one on the hit parade this afternoon, Nativity. Number two, our morning folks. Annette, how are you? Eileen, Georgina, Micheline, and Wendy, good afternoon. From Markham, Louise, and Brenda, Campbell River, Laurie, Niagara Falls, Nick, good afternoon from our staff, Adeline. Nice to have you guys on, Chantal. And Linda from British Columbia. We appreciate it. And Wendy's having a coffee even in the afternoon. Nicole, how are you? Sandy, Washington State. Orangeville, we're saying hello to Frank. Jeanette, bonjour. Glenda, how are you? Another Wendy from London. And Mary. And Shelley, how are you? Janine, Matthijs, Linda, Shirley, Kapuskasing, Diane Thunderbay, and another Diane, and Joanne from Nova Scotia, Corrine, Nouveau-Brunswick, Delphine, how are you? Newfoundland. Carol was Sega. Are you swimming today? And Ruth Ann. And Carrie from Nebraska. Gloria. Hyde Park, New York. Dale. Jocelyn. Barbara. Cape Breton. And Annette. Good afternoon. Wanda. Virginia. And Bernice. Newfoundland. Guys, coast to coast. And Debbie, good morning, or afternoon. I'm so used to saying good morning. Okay, guys, let's get going. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. Remember, tomorrow is question and answer Friday. Get your questions in. We sure have a ball on Fridays. Okay, here's the headline. Let me read it to you. Men, it ain't good. Sperm counts worldwide down 62% in 50 years, according to an Israeli study. Nobody is talking about this. The sperm count of men. That's not good news, guys. It's not good news. But I'll tell you why it's happening. It's the decrease in testosterone in men. Now, I've said this before. I actually wrote this in my new book that we're waiting to be published. But let me quote a study here that I wrote in our new book, Sun, Steak, and Steel. In my clinical experience, this is on, maybe not, maybe a different page, so I better not say that. In my clinical experience, 90% of men over 40 have symptoms of low testosterone. 90% of men have symptoms of low testosterone. And most men over the age of 50 have higher estrogen and lower testosterone levels than their spouse. Imagine that. Higher estrogen than their wives after the age of 50. Most men. That, folks, is not good. Because, okay, when you think of testosterone, you know, men think sex. And, hey, that's true. A man needs testosterone. Not only sexually, And not only sperm counts, but it's amazing what testosterone does, because testosterone is to a man what estrogen is to a woman. Ladies, the problem in women when you get hormones is estrogen becomes out of balance compared to progesterone. But in men, their testosterone sinks. And we always thought, I remember, let's go back 30, 40 years talking about testosterone. Nobody ever tested it. And it didn't seem to talk about it too much. But every once in a while, even in my radio programs or whatever, I talk about testosterone. And men, yeah, testosterone, so what? Well, the problem is, at one time we think, okay, as you age, your testosterone goes down, but that's not true. It's not supposed to be true. It's happening, but it's not supposed to be true. And testosterone for a man affects everything, from the brain to the toes. Because again, most men think, well, it's all that is, testosterone. I'm 60, 70 years old, thinking of sex. But it's far more than that. It's far more than that. The well-being of a man really depends not only, of course, on testosterone, but it is a major factor. And we're losing it. We'll talk about that in a second. Now, what are some of the symptoms of low testosterone, low T in men? Okay? I've written some down here. Okay? Fatigue. Yeah, fatigue. Declining motivation. Oh, I remember testing testosterone in our office. And men who were once driven, declining motivation, and their sense of well-being. And ladies, you might even see this in your husbands. They're down. They're not motivated. They can't seem to put their finger on it. They're tired. Weight gain, or difficulty losing weight, belly fat, loss of muscle mass and strength, prostate problems, big time. There's a thing, just on a little side note, that it always sort of bothers me, that because I was talking to someone the other day, just a couple of days ago, about prostate cancer. And they said, well, my oncologist is getting my testosterone down to nothing. And I understand why they do that. I understand their thinking, but I think they're wrong. Because when man has trouble with his prostate, think of what growth hormones are, okay? Growth hormones are insulin, that's food, and estrogen. You see, men who get prostate cancer are high in estrogen, not testosterone. Testosterone will keep a man from prostate cancer. Their treatment, part of the treatment for a lot of oncologists with prostate cancer, is to take away they try and get testosterone down to nothing. But study after study has shown that men really have trouble when they have low testosterone, not high testosterone. Folks, with testosterone in men, I aim very high, because that's when they do the best. That's when they think more clearly. That's when their muscle mass is better. Their sex life is better. It's testosterone, the manly hormone, okay? And even in men, less sexual desire, erectile dysfunction, loss of memory, heart problems, sagging facial skin, premature aging, thinning hair, whoops, that's me, slower thinking, weakened immune system, aches and pains, irritability, and anxiety. That's all from my new book, Sun, Steak, and Steel. Prostate. Big trouble. Brain. Big trouble. Heart. What they've shown in men. And the heart and brain connection and testosterone. And why do we see like a statistic that comes out of Israel that's showing that men, the sperm counts worldwide are down 50%? You got to think, okay, what's happening? Why is that happening? And I'm telling you, folks, we live in an estrogen-driven world. A man's testosterone will be directly proportional to how much estrogen they have. Lots of estrogen, testosterone is down in a man. Because it's like a woman. When a woman, because every once in a while I get asked this question by ladies, Doc, my testosterone's too high. And I got hair on my chinny chin, and I got acne and PCOS, polycystic ovarian disorder. Yep. But I said, I know testosterone has gone up in a woman, but I'll tell you why it's gone up. There's two reasons for it. One is insulin, and the other one is low progesterone compared to estrogen, and then testosterone takes off, not before that. And I don't want to be negative, but endocrinologists, they can only, it's almost like they have blinders on. They can't see the whole picture of hormones. They've been taught, one thing, it seems. And when a woman has hormones, it messes up their thinking because I did your blood test and everything seems to be within normal limits. They're not looking in a woman in balance. And in men, they rarely ever test it. Testosterone. It should be optimized. A man will not do well unless he has optimized testosterone. And it's very therapeutic to get your testosterone up. Now, how do you do that? How does a man get his testosterone up? Sun. Yep. Sun. Vitamin D elevates a man's testosterone. The sun. Okay? So important. And this is what I used to see in the office all the time. Low vitamin D in men, low testosterone, almost invariably. Almost without exception. So you need the sun. Isn't the sun so beneficial? I was reading a study, even today, on the virus and vitamin D. And they said $11 of treatment of vitamin D. That was the headline of it. Kept people from dying from COVID. Holy moly. I'll bring that to you, that study. I'm just sort of unpacking it now. But it was a meta-analysis of 99 studies done on vitamin D and the virus. And here we are. You're into flu season. It's flu season. Isn't it amazing how a virus circulates in the winter? It's not the virus, guys. It's us. When we don't see no sun. Everybody knows that. Why do you think, do you remember this? Some of you would remember when I was screaming blue murder at the start of, in 2020, when they shut everything down. And I said, don't shut the beaches. What? Don't shut the beaches. I said, don't even worry about the beaches. Get everybody and put them on those big jumbo planes and carriers and bring us all to Florida and let us sit on the beach and get some sun. Now they're analyzing 99 studies of people's vitamin D, not given vitamin D, some of them were, but it was just measuring vitamin D and how they did with the virus. And my friend, we're always going to have viruses. Always. Every year, we're going to have the flu season. And the key is elevating your vitamin D. The key. You know, in Northern Ontario, I start in September taking vitamin D in a supplement. Because we don't see the sun much. When we do, beautiful. Those are all bonus days. Oh, Florida, Arizona. They get the sun all the time, and people stay out of it. Or they lather themselves up with sunscreen. Ooh. Or sunblock. Ooh. Men, you need vitamin D. You need to optimize your vitamin D levels. Your testosterone will come up with vitamin D. It's amazing. Your testosterone will elevate with vitamin D. Here's another important factor for elevating testosterone. Steak. Yep. Steak for two reasons. One, nutrient-dense food. It's a log on the fire of your metabolism. And steak has cholesterol. You need cholesterol. Remember, cholesterol are the trucks on the highways and byways of your blood vessels, transporting hormones. Men, your manly hormone needs cholesterol. Now, God don't trust you. 85% of that cholesterol is made in your liver. But you're responsible for the 15%. Eat your steak, eat your eggs, eat your cheese. It'll get your testosterone up. You need vitamin S. One of the best things you can do is vitamin E. Steel. Sun, steak, steel. You know what destroys testosterone? Fat cells. Fat cells. Because fat cells are estrogen, insulin, of course, but also they're big secretors of estrogen. Ladies, it's normal for you to have more fat percentage than a man. Think about it. estrogen makes a woman a woman. You're going to have, fat in the right places. Extra fat. Okay? That's just normal. But when men, especially when they hit their 40s and 50s, and they got more fat, they got more estrogen than their wives. That's why sun, steak, and steel is so good for them. It's so good for them. I have a lot of men. I had a lot of men with prostate problems and other low testosterone problems. I often put those men on DIM. I put men on our hormonal formula to dim out their estrogen, especially with their prostate, to shrink that prostate. I dimmed them out. Like I said, it was amazing. They had so much estrogen, it was incredible. It's not normal. It's not right. It's not what it's supposed to be. Estrogen is a woman's hormone, not a man's. And I still believe I'm old-fashioned in the differences in sexes. You have to stop thinking medically, even to, not know the difference. There's a huge difference hormonally in that. Men, you need your sun, steak, and steel. Absolutely. Another one that's really important for testosterone is zinc. Now, I don't talk about zinc all that much. It's not that I don't like it, folks. I love zinc, okay? But there are some vitamins that I want you to eat and not necessarily supplement with them. Zinc is one of them. That's why I don't talk about it as much, because when you're eating vitamin S, you get all the zinc in the world. Zinc is good for testosterone. Zinc is good for the prostate. Zinc is very good for the immune system. We all know that. Through the days of the virus, the last couple of years, and even in the flu season, I'm big on zinc. That's why we need to eat more vitamin S. Steak. Steak is so important. So, yeah, steak is so important. Tea, men, tea, testosterone. We need it. Ladies, a lot of times you're the gatekeeper, aren't you? The ladies are the gatekeeper in their homes when it comes to health. More often than not. I mean, I know we have a lot of men on our program, and we really appreciate that. Guys that are really into their health. But a lot of men, it's, I don't know. I don't know anything. My wife knows everything about that. Yeah, your wife does. Your wife's smart. Okay? Men, they used to come in the office. Why are you here? I don't know. What's the matter? Nothing. How are you feeling? Good. And, of course, by the time I talked to them, I had all the results. I said, you're a liar, pants on fire. With your testosterone levels, don't tell me you're feeling good. Wow, I feel pretty good. And I really loved it when the wife came in, because she told the truth. Tell him. What do you mean you're feeling good? You can fall asleep at a drop of a hat. You're tired all the time. Your sex life. I I used to have fun in the office, guys. I did. Because, I'm a big tease. So, there was a lot of humor there. Although I took the results very seriously. Very, very seriously. But isn't that interesting at the top when we talked about what is happening worldwide when you look at the sperm counts of men? Now, a lot of that, of course, is not only low testosterone, but at the same time is because we live in an estrogen-filled world. All these plastics, all these chemicals and air fresheners and sprays and everything in the kitchen, in the workplace, and folks, you can't get away from it, is really affecting man's testosterone levels. Absolutely incredible. And it's important. So what do they need? Sun, steak, and steel. Sun, steak, and steel. Get their vitamin D levels up. Eat steak because of zinc, because of vitamin A, because of cholesterol. It's not the boogeyman. You actually need it to be healthy. Okay. So guys, thanks for joining us this afternoon. We appreciate it. Tomorrow's question and answer Friday. Looking forward to that, back at our regular time. And we appreciate all the feedback. Give us your feedback, guys. We appreciate it. Thanks for sharing on Facebook. Thanks for telling people about the Doctor Is In podcast. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. And guys, we love you dearly, and we'll talk to you soon.